Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. All righty, so welcome to our Talk About Town New West, being presented tonight by our New Westminster Hayek Ambassador Leadership Candidates of 2021. The Hayek Festival Association acknowledges that we are situated on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish people, and specifically the Kakite First Nations. My name is Karen Davidson. I'm a 1988 alumni and Miss Friendship of the Hayek Ambassador Program, where the mandate of our program is to encourage, educate, empower our young women of our community. Being a Hayek Ambassador involves months of leadership training, service, and volunteer opportunities, representing our royal city throughout the Pacific Northwest, and just a ton of fun with our Sparklehead sisters around BC. Can we get a wave from all our royal relatives joining us tonight? Thank you for joining us, ladies. We really appreciate your support. But most important, the Hayek Ambassador Leadership Program is a premier scholarship opportunity where each year the Hayek Festival Association and many dedicated community sponsors work together to make available $20,000 in post-secondary awards to the young women of this program. So thank you to our sponsors on recognizing the value of supporting our future leaders. Tonight is a rather unique opportunity. It is the soft launch of our new initiative at the Hayek Festival Association, Talk About Town New West, where we will be highlighting and showing off our community, our sponsors, our traditions, our businesses, our parks, places, and all the things that makes the Royal City so special. Here's a sneak peek. Hosting tonight's Talk About Town New West will be our 2021 Hayek Ambassador Leadership Candidates, or as we call them, Team Tierra. And they will be presenting their individual sponsor speeches, as well as answering a few questions from our 2021 judging panel. And speaking of our judges, I would like to introduce them to you now. This very esteemed group of individuals who have volunteered their time to adjudicate and assess our candidates. Let's meet our judges. Miss Donna Hansby. Donna is now retired after a successful career as a team leader in learning and development at TELUS. She looks forward to watching this year's candidates flourish in the program and wishes each of them much success in their lives, both personally and professionally. Our second judge, Mrs. Sandra Niven. Sandra is an active volunteer and is an associate with Cystic Fibrosis Canada, our chosen charity in honor of Miss New Westminster 2002, Miss Ava Markfort. Sandra has vast experience in volunteer management, marketing, social media, and engagement. Our third judge, Mr. Darcy Peary. Darcy was born and raised in New Westminster, is a past Hayek board member, and now lives in Coquitlam with his wife and 2 daughters. Darcy's family has long ties to Westminster that extends back over 90 years in this community. Our fourth judge, Mr. Luis Montalvo. Luis was born in El Salvador and moved to Canada when he was 19. He has been a restaurant owner, a Starbucks manager, and now is the project manager with Subway British Columbia. His motto is, great customer service and community involvement will lead you to success. We also have 3 adjudicators for tonight's sponsored speech presentation. Mrs. Iona Welder, the program coordinator of the White Rock Youth Ambassadors. Miss Teresa Dares, the former coordinator of the BC Ambassadors Program, and she is the current Kamloops coordinator for the Kamloops Ambassadors Program. We also have Mr. Maurice Gessner, member of the Tillicum Toastmasters here in New Westminster, who has been working with our young ladies on their speeches and crafting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We certainly appreciate your time and wish you good luck again, as we have a stellar group of young women for you to meet this year. And to our viewing audience, the voting for the People's Choice Award is now available on eventbrite.ca, where you can vote for your favorite stellar candidate. The link is in the chat on tonight's Zoom event. All monies raised in the People's Choice Award voting will be earmarked for the Scholarship Fund and equally divided among all 6 2021 candidates. The candidate with the most votes will receive a beautiful gift personalized just for her. In our future Talk About Towns, New West becomes more established as an ongoing, recognizable source of city support. Please get in touch with the HIAC office if your team, your business, or your live event would like to be featured in a future episode of Talk About Town, New West. And before we continue, I would like to introduce you to our current Team Tiara. Miss New Westminster 2020, Miss Moira Young. HIAC Princess Tiana Baudouin. Miss Friendship Ashley Choi. HIAC Ambassadors Laura Solkowski and Alyssa Choi. Thank you, ladies. You are doing a great job, under the current circumstances. Okay. Let's get on board for tonight's first Talk About Town, New Westminster, with our Ambassador candidate, Team Tiara 2021, and some fun facts about our Royal City. This year marks the HIAC Festival Association's 50th year of working within New Westminster to bring accessible and inclusive family fun, fantastic festival events, international parades, this leadership program, and so much more to our community. Started in 1971 by then Mayor Muni Evers as a volunteer-based organization tasked with implementing community events to celebrate our city, the HIAC Festival Association has developed into a well-known association recognizable throughout the Pacific Northwest for promoting our Royal City. All this could not be accomplished without the decades of dedication provided by the HIAC Festival's sponsors, members, and our fantastic volunteers. This year's president, Miss Becky DeWinitz, who is also Miss New Westminster 1981, has made it her mandate and her year's theme to recognize and honor all the people who have made HIAC great over the past 50 years.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Dumovich, and I'm proud to be sponsored by Westland Insurance Group. Westland Insurance Group is one of the largest and fastest growing independent insurance brokers in Canada. Their motto is, "Your best coverage is our only policy." Founded in 1980, this family-owned business, which opened in Ladder by Mr. Jeff Webbs, has dedicated itself to supporting local communities. Mr. Webb's son, Jason Webbs, is now the CEO of Westland Insurance, and it remains independently owned. Mrs. Sheila Roon is my corporate sponsor representative. She started with Westland in 2007, when there were over 50 offices. Soon after that, they branched out to Ontario, and now have over 150 locations coast to coast in Canada. There are 3 locations in New Westminster: 6th Street, Columbia Square, and Royal City Centre. Mrs. Roon is the branch manager at the Royal City Centre location, and she loves her job. She loves working and interacting with her customers. Finding them solutions brings her joy. Westland's top priority is to strive to provide great coverage for their business, home, family, and insurance clients. Community-based, they take pride in giving back to their community by supporting organizations such as NWSS HIAC Football, BC Children's Hospital, and of course, the New Westminster HIAC Ambassador Program. In 2020, Westland celebrated their 40th anniversary with their 40 Weeks of Giving campaign to show their appreciation and give back to the communities they serve. They sponsored and partnered with many community outreach programs across the country. They have 4 core values: The value of the Golden Rule, which is also their insurance service promise, stood out to me the most. This states, we respect all people, dealing with them the way we would want to be dealt with, knowing ourselves, understanding, and listening to others. This stood out to me because I believe this is something every good business should have. I'm proud to be sponsored by Westland Insurance, as I believe as a company they show business integrity, high ethical standards, and honesty. I'm grateful for this opportunity to represent them through my service as a 2021 New Westminster Hayek Ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Now for the judges. Donna, you're up.
Let me just get my questions. Okay. Hi, Lauren. Nice speech. By the way, I just wanted you to know that I really enjoyed your senior mentor speech. I listened to it today. It was very well done. So congratulations on that. You mentioned in your essay that you need to make yourself responsible. I have a lot of younger people in my family, and I'm wondering, how do you help young people to become responsible?
I would say, starting with my friends, I would try to influence the values of being responsible that I've learned from my family, from this program, and then I would see if they could spread them to other people in my school or other places, and just see if that would be a good step for encouraging that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sandra, you're up. Sandra, we're going to come back to you. Let's go to Darcy. Darcy, do you have your question ready?
I sure do. Good evening, Lauren.
Excellent. Thank you.
One of your likes is reading, which is fabulous. I'm a reader myself. Can you tell us which book you have read so far that's been most memorable and how it would help you as an ambassador in your journey?
I think I've read Pride and Prejudice, which I actually started by watching the movie with my mom, and then I got interested once I heard there was a book. And I think it's helped me with my ambassador so far. Just the writer and just seeing powerful women. And I think that's just influenced me to become a really powerful woman and just continue to show that through my ambassador service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darcy. Lewis, you're up.
Hi, Lauren. I hope that you're not too nervous, but it's you know, relax. It's things that you know about. I know that you have experience with Alzheimer's, and what I want to know is how would you influence and educate your peers about the importance of our elders and get them involved to help them?
I've noticed that a lot of people don't understand the severity of helping elderly people. And I guess if I had the chance to talk to people, or maybe even write something for my school and see if I could post it somewhere, I would like to do that because I know a lot about some things they've gone through, some isolation, some severity with sickness, and I would just like to write something about it to show my peers how much I care and how much I know, hoping that they could learn about it that way too and understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lewis. So we're going to go back to Sandra's question, which I actually have, and I'm going to read it out for Lauren. How has your communication skills developed during this program?
I think we talk to a lot of speakers. We have a lot of speakers frequently come in, and I've been faced with the challenge of talking to new people that I've never met about different topics, and I think that I've just learned to communicate in a different way. I've learned to talk to those people, and also it's just we do a lot of public speaking, as you can see, and I love drama and acting, but it's very different than that. And I think me doing these presentations has helped me communicate, has helped me been more comfortable communicating to new, different people. And yeah, so I think just the exposure to different ways of getting out of my comfort zone has really helped my communication skills. Thank you.
We have lots of great pools in New Westminster, but my favorite is Kenna Games Pool. When I was younger, I used to go there with my friends on Friday nights. We would go on the rope swing, jump off the diving boards, and try to run across a floating mat while being sprayed with freezing cold water. They also held carnivals with cake and cotton candy. It was so fun.
Did you know Pier Park is built on equal parts of land and water and is supported by 3,600 pilings along the eastern end of the river market? The Westminster Pier Park was combined with the waterfront boardwalk, creating a magnificent 2.5-kilometer waterfront park along the mighty Fraser River. This historic pier is part of New Westminster's chief waterfront recreational attraction, a true jewel in the crown of our royal city. Pier Park boasts a lawn, concession, picnic tables, and an urban beach with sandy volleyball courts, basketball courts, playgrounds, and a cedared wall of historic and vintage photos, and much more to enjoy well on your visit to the Pier Park. Tragically, last fall, a devastating fire broke out on the eastern side of Pier Park, resulting in the entire 1957 timber wharf being lost. Since then, the City of New Westminster has been working tirelessly to rebuild the site, and the park is anticipated to open sometime later this year.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Paris DeCapite and I'm proudly sponsored by Casting Company. If you're ever in need of expert professional legal advice, you can find anything you need by searching CastiLaw.com to view their award-winning website. Their office is located at 7th Street and Belmont in New Westminster. You will find that they are committed to providing practical, real-life solutions that fit each of your needs. By remaining dedicated to serving the community of New Westminster and surrounding areas for over 100 years, their legal team provides a vast listing of services in many areas of law, and it includes staff who speak French, Polish, and Filipino. The founding partner, George Livingston Cassidy, started the practice of law in British Columbia in 1911. After serving in the military for 3 years, he later joined with Peter Lewis to form the firm Cassidy and Lewis. In 1958, Mr. Cassidy was joined by his son, George Perrin Cassidy, most commonly and fondly known as Skip. In 2000, when Skip retired, he graciously permitted the firm to be passed down as Cassidy and Company. It was at that time Dory Ann Leggett became a partner. She developed her interest in law at a young age and at 16 years old became a legal secretary. Dory Ann was called to the Bar of British Columbia in 1989 and that same year joined the firm. She has recently been named the top real estate lawyer and one of the top 3 business lawyers in New Westminster. From the beginning, Cassidy and Company has been committed to giving back to the community. Skip and his wife, Marilyn Cassidy, reinforced the firm's commitment to New Westminster by sitting as officers and directors on countless board meetings and working tirelessly for local charities, including the New Westminster High Festival Association, where they each served as president in 1975 and 1981. Cassidy and Company are longtime promoters of education and supporters of the Douglas College and New Westminster School Board. Their firm helps in sponsoring the Royal Columbian Hospital Foundation, Monarch Place Transition House, the Salmon Valley's A Blue Cross, New Westminster Secondary School High X Football, the Royal City Rotary Club, and the annual May Day celebration, just to name a few. The next time you're in need of business or professional legal expertise, I would highly recommend the professional team at Cassidy & Company with their focused attention and top quality services.
Thank you, Paris. Now for the judges' questions. Donna, please.
Hi, Paris. Nicely done. I enjoyed your seniors mentor speech today as well. It's been kind of fun getting to know you a little bit. I noticed that you are actually a member on the cheer team, and I had a family member who was on a cheer team as well, and she loved it as much as you did. And so my question is, as a cheer team member, what were some of the biggest lessons you learned, and how do you apply them to your everyday life?
Hi, thank you for the question. The biggest lesson I've learned with cheerleading is how to push yourself past your limits. With cheerleading, there's a lot that goes in, and it's a very competitive sport, and to me it means a lot. And just going out of your comfort zone and being a better team player and stepping up to be the best that you can has definitely helped me in my everyday life with just doing everyday things.
Thank you.
Okay, I am actually going to speak for Sandra. There are some communication issues. So Paris, your question from judge number 2 is, can you speak to your draw towards helping youth?
Helping youth, to me, is a very big part in my life. I always like to give back to the community and just be a better team player. And I feel like with youth, they could use the advice that even throughout the program I have learned and just being here today.
Okay, Darcy, please.
Sure. Good evening, Paris. In your essay, you touched on the challenges and changes that have happened with COVID-19 and the general pandemic restrictions that are out there today. What is one or two key daily activities that have changed for you that you would like to return back to the way it was pre-COVID-19, and why?
That's a great question. The biggest thing that to me is a huge challenge would be going to school every day. The classes are longer, having to sit there with your mask on. Feels like we don't really get the time to talk and just be together as a class. Is kind of just on your own, sitting there. It just doesn't really feel the best. And it just seems like a lot right now, especially with like the different protocols. So I would definitely like for the school to be somewhat back to normal and have more team spirit and just, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you.
And Lewis, your question?
Hello, Paris. My question is in regards to your mentor, Lorraine Black. What have you learned from Lorraine that mirrors your interest on helping kids and making people happy?
The biggest thing that I have learned from Lorraine Black is how she said it's very important to give back to the community. And to me, I think that is a big deal. And that just all the advice that she gives to all younger people today just means a lot to me.
One memory of Pier Park that sticks out the most is adding love lockets to the chain link fence bright and early one year on Mother's Day to remember my grandma who'd recently died of Alzheimer's. Each time we went for walks in Pier Park, we would check on the locks, and the memory of my Nana would always be fresh in our minds forever. I really hope the fire hose hammocks will be replaced so I can relax on them in the sun and daydream.
Have you seen the 133-foot-long neon sign of public art on Burnett Avenue? This is a tribute to the Royal Engineers, a British military division that played a significant role in the early history of New Westminster. When news of gold being found on the Fraser River reached San Francisco in 1858, upwards of 30,000 gold seekers had poured into our region. The few hundred British residents were overwhelmed and sought help from the colonial office back in London. The answer to their plea was 160 men of the Columbia Detachment of the Royal Engineers, under the command of Colonel Richard Moody. Army barracks were stationed in New Westminster, and the Columbia Detachment of soldiers were known as the Sappers. Hence, the neighborhood today is named for them, Sapperton. But what exactly is a sapper? Well, a sapper is a multi-skilled soldier tasked with construction, building roads, surveying, and distributing maps of areas that they are assigned. And now you know, and so do I. The contribution of the sappers to this new crown colony of British Columbia were many. Above all, the Royal Engineers ensured this specific colony would remain a British possession, paving the way for a Canada stretched from sea to sea. And today we recognize and honor their legacy with the Sappers Were Here landmark sign close to their original barracks.
Service above self. Put your community's needs before your own. That is the motto for the Rotary Clubs of New Westminster. Good evening, my name is Claire Hafner, and I am proudly sponsored by the New Westminster Rotary Club and Royal City Rotary. Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million friends, neighbors, problem solvers, and leaders. They see a world where we take action and create everlasting change across the globe by uniting in our communities. Rotary is dedicated to fundraising for many important causes, locally and internationally. The Rotary Club was formed in 1905 by Paul Harris in Chicago. It was his vision that professional men could gather and exchange ideas. Over time, the vision extended to humanitarian service. There are three main parts to Rotary. First, being Rotary International. They support Rotary clubs worldwide while coordinating global programs from their head office in Chicago. The second part being the Rotary Clubs. 35,000 plus clubs in more than 200 countries and geographical areas. The last part being the Rotary Foundation, which helps fund their humanitarian activities. Now, if you want to join Rotary, there are three groups. If you're in high school, you can join Interact. In university, you join Rotaract. And after university or high school, you can join Rotary. They have many local projects, such as Power of Pets, youth programs and scholarships like the Hive Ambassador Program, and the Rotary Youth Leadership Award. Rotary meets every week and has two clubs. Mr. Rick Molstad is youth director for the morning club called Royal City Rotary, and Mrs. Lori Stewart is youth director for the afternoon club called New Westminster Rotary. Mrs. Stewart has been a member of Rotary for many years, is youth chair for both clubs, and is president-elect starting in July 2022. An interesting thing I have in common with Mrs. Stewart is that she ran for Miss New Westminster in 1983 and was even sponsored by Rotary, just like me. In 2008, she was invited to join the club by her father-in-law and mentor, Dr. Erwin Stewart, because of her passion for the power of education. Dr. Stewart has organized many international events in Africa, like collecting medical equipment and training Africans in medicine. Mrs. Stewart, Dr. Erwin Stewart, Mr. Rick Molstad, and many others joined Rotary to pursue their passions and change their communities for the better. I am now a strong believer in service above self, and I implore you all to remember this motto and follow Rotary's four-way test of things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Now for the judges' questions. Donna, please.
Hi, Claire. It's nice to meet you. I have to tell you, when I was listening to your seniors, your mentor speech today, your senior mentor, when you talked about how your mentor had that one customer who had followed her everywhere she went, and then when she passed, I have to say, you brought tears to my eyes. It was a really touching moment in your speech. So thank you for that, I think. My question to you is, given your interest in sustainability, what is the one thing that you do to really help improve and ensure that we do maintain a sustainable environment?
That's a great question. Well, around my household, we've always been pretty sustainable, I guess I would say. We always do the proper recycling, which includes soft plastic and bottle recycling and paper. And unfortunately, due to COVID, I couldn't go forward with some of the projects I had in mind. But I'm hoping to start up some projects next year if the conditions have changed.
Awesome, thank you.
And I have Sandra's question for Claire. Claire, what are a couple of your ideas for engaging youth in your community?
That's also a great question. For me, when I was little, I always loved the community center and all the activities it had to offer. I've been very interested in sports, and there was always crafts at Hume Park. So I think that's a great way for the youth to get involved.
And Darcy, please.
Well, we're going to do this on the fly because Donna, you took my question, but that's okay. So
Oops, sorry.
here we go. First of all, good evening to you. And you like sports. You've played basketball. You've played volleyball. You've played many different community teams as well. Which sport do you think that if you had the opportunity to start a professional team, that you would like to start a professional team and coach it and run it?
That would be actually a dream of mine. Volleyball has to be my main passion. I've played many sports, as I mentioned, but I've just always been somewhat drawn to volleyball and having to improve on it. And I definitely want to share my knowledge with younger kids. So I think volleyball would have to be the sport.
Fantastic. I think volleyball is a great sport too. But I'm a basketball guy, so that's all right.
Thank you, Darcy. And Louis, your question, please.
My question is about leadership and how to inspire. And as a representative of the as a high ambassador, you need to be a leader and know how to inspire others. So as a leader, how could you inspire your peers to be involved in a sustainable community?
Well, that's actually a great question, as I said. I think leading by example almost. Because if you show others that you're sustainable and mention the benefits of it, because the world is changing and there's global warming and everybody wants a sustainable planet. So I think showing the facts and leading by example will make others follow.
Great. Good job. Thanks.
One of my favorite traditions New Westminster has is May Day. When I was little, I always loved watching and participating in the folk and maple dances. Then in grade 5, I got to represent Richard McBride Elementary as May Queen of 2015. My favorite parts were the evening banquet and the Lancers dance. I met girls that I'm still friends with till this day. It was an experience I'll never forget.
Did you know that the Q2Q ferry stands for Queensborough to the Quay and vice versa? The Q2Q is a foot passenger ferry connecting Queensborough on the south to the quayside communities on the north, across the north arm of the Fraser River. Started as a pilot project in 2017, it is now a daily service operating from the dock below the inn at the quay over to the Port Royal Public Dock in Queensborough, hence the name, the Q2Q ferry. The fleet consists of 2 12-person vessels, each with 2 wheelchairs and 4 bicycles. Okay, let's continue. We're still talking about the Q2Q ferry in New Westminster. So in the early days, came to the market on the Fraser River using paddle wheelers and small boats. Today, that river history continues with the Q2Q ferry service, ferrying city residents and tourists between the river market and Queensborough.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Priya Dollywall, and I am proudly sponsored by Key West Ford, who I'm excited to share a little bit about tonight. Living up to their slogan, Built Ford Tough, Key West Ford, located at 301 Stewartson Way in New Westminster, is a great establishment. They are committed to aiding their customers as well as our community. Founded in 1985 by the Backman family, and now co-owned by the Backman and Eisfeld families, they are your premium retailer for new and used Ford vehicles of all makes in the Lower Mainland. Their purpose is to provide people with reliable car sales and follow up with them, ensuring customers are happy with their product. They even aid customers in the process of learning to use their new vehicles. They offer a new and beautiful state-of-the-art showroom, parts and service center, as well as a finance department. Key West Ford has also been very involved within our community. They have put on food drives and drive-in movies in the summer, for which they've donated all their profits to the food bank. Recently, as we've all been going through a difficult time with the COVID-19 pandemic, they have really emphasized the community. They have, their staff has put on Their staff has driven senior citizens around the city to appointments, which has been hugely beneficial. They have provided the option to work from home rather than being laid off. Ms. Alex Laviolette, who has been with QS Board for about a year, informed me about how caring of an organization they are. Beginning as a receptionist, then moving to the service department, and finally to customer care, she loves the growth opportunities within the company. The kind-hearted, family-like work environment surrounding her radiates positivity within the company. Evidently, QS Board is a strong establishment, and their actions have made our world a more positive place. They have shown endless support for their customers, community, as well as their employees, which separates them from other dealerships. Their new showroom is beautifully designed and very welcoming. As I just recently got my driver's license, I know I will be visiting QS Board, and I encourage you to explore their outstanding dealership as well. Head to 301 Stewartson Way, as it will not disappoint you. Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. And now for the judges' questions. Donna, please.
There. Sorry, I just had to unmute myself. Thank you very much. I enjoyed your presentation. I also enjoyed your seniors mentor speech this morning. I watched it today, so getting to know you a little bit. So congratulations on being in the program. My question to you is, in one of your letters of reference, I think it was, your math teacher said that your remote learning was excellent. So what skills or habits did you use to stay on top of your studies during this time?
Thank you. To stay on top of my remote learning, I made sure to set a schedule that I would wake up early every day and not get behind on my homework. I would follow the teacher's lessons and make sure I attended all the online classes to ensure I didn't miss any information. And just by staying on top of my work and wake up on time, I found I was able to complete all my assignments and do well with the remote learning. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have Sandra's question here for Priya. Priya, how has being resilient helped you this year?
Especially as we've been going through the COVID-19 pandemic, I found a lot of struggles in my path, especially in my sports, which is something I'm very passionate about. I have not been able to either play them as much as I'd like, or for example, in my soccer, we have not been able to play games for a while. Being resilient and just attending practices has allowed me to find my love for the sports and continue with it while I'm not able to play games.
And Darcy, your question, please.
Perfect. Good evening, Priya. And you get the benefit that I don't have to do this on the fly because Donna didn't take my question this time. But that's all right. Here we go. In your essay, you talk about homelessness, and certainly homelessness is a problem that is not only real, but also one of the many social issues in any community that is certainly misunderstood. And main reason it's misunderstood is because of cause and generally gets focused on the effect. What would you say to people who focus on the effects of homelessness rather than the cause? What would be your comment to them, or what would you believe you could do to change their thinking?
I think an important thing I would say to them is to make sure they're educating themselves rather than just looking at the person and making an assumption. Because it's really important to educate ourselves, because we may not know what these people are going through. We can just assume these things. However, when we don't know what they're going through, it's really easy to assume, which can have a negative impact on society.
Great. Thank you for the answer.
And Lewis, your question, please.
Hello, Priya. There is pairings, they have pair you with mentors. And I believe your mentor is Alana McIntyre. So I wanted to ask you, why do you think it is important to have mentors in our lives? And what is the difference between a mentor and a hero? And who is your hero?
Thank you. I think it's very important to have mentors in our lives because it's important to have somebody to guide us and help us, especially in difficult situations. We may be unsure of what to do. They can lead us through and provide us with their advice, which is very useful. And the difference between a mentor and a hero is a mentor is someone that is there to guide you and is there along by your side, whereas a hero may be someone you look up to, however, you may not know them personally. I would say my hero is Michelle Obama because I really respect her values and the way that she leads herself. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Although we haven't had much snow this year, my favorite snow experience in US has to be sledding down the massive hill at Queen's Park. I remember going with my sisters, and each year we would have a race down the hill, which I of course won. After hours of fun, we would come home to a delicious warm cup of hot chocolate.
4 years after the collapse of one of New West's iconic sports facility, the Arenex at Queen's Park, the new 12,000 square foot multi-sports facility, Queen's Park Sportsplex, is now open. This facility is a zero carbon facility using advanced green building principles. It is the first of its kind of the city and is situated in Queen's Park, adjacent to the stadium, arena, and skate park. The new building has been custom designed to accommodate all the activities previously offered at the Arenex. However, programming and activities will be scheduled on a gradual return as a result of COVID-19. A full component of gymnastics and trampoline lessons lost since 2016 will be given initial priority in rescheduling of activities, along with other popular playtime programs, including motoring munchkins. The state-of-the-art building is equipped with features such as high-performance passive heating and cooling units and solar panels installed on the roof. Additionally, reclaimed timbers from the old Arenex were incorporated into the design of a sportsplex, so our history lives on. The Welcome Plaza boasts seating arenas, natural play elements, and a great multi-purpose space for hosting special outdoor events.
Hello everyone, my name is Maggie Roost and I am honored to be sponsored by the New Westminster Firefighters Charitable Society that is a part of the International Association of Firefighters, the IAFF, and their New Westminster number is 256. Established in 1990, our city's charitable society has worked tirelessly to put in decades of dedication to serve our community. They are involved with many local programs and events to raise awareness and raise funds for various causes to ultimately give back to the community. For example, they support the HIAC Ambassador Program and the BC Professional Firefighters Burn Fund. This fund is committed to promoting information on burn prevention and providing survivor support here in BC. In 2019 alone, our Firefighters Charitable Society raised around $40,000 from various events. For example, at the annual Shred-a-thon, where people can bring their papers they need shredded, and the Christmas tree chip, where you can get your tree chipped by the firefighters who have chosen to be a part of the charitable society. 100% of the money raised goes right back into the community to the people who need it most. It is through these events that people are brought together, and it is clear that charitable society played a vital role in the establishment and continuity of strong connections within our royal city. Additionally, this charitable society is made up of current firefighters who are proud of being a part of something so meaningful, and many of them consider it almost to be just a part of the job. Not only am I honored to be sponsored by the Charitable Society for their astounding accomplishments and devotion to our community, but also because my grandfather, Bill Willis, was a firefighter. He began in 1966 and retired in '99 as the assistant chief, so it means very much to me that I was able to receive this sponsorship. I encourage everyone to continue supporting our New Westminster Firefighters Charitable Society, IAFF 256. And don't forget to thank them for their decades of dedication to serve our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. And now for the judges' questions. Donna, your question, please.
Hi, Maggie. I was so engrossed in your speech, I forgot to keep track of my questions. That was well done. Thank you. You mentioned that you might be interested when you finish schooling and going into accounting or something related to that. What draws you to that field?
Personally, I've always been interested in numbers. I always liked math. My family actually used to call me Mathematical Maggie. I don't know where that came from, but that's pretty awesome. And I think that I like things that make sense, and I think that accounting would be an interesting thing for me to look at in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sandra.
Okay. Hi, I'm sorry, everybody. I've been having internet challenges. Maggie, I really enjoyed reading your essay and your application. I was just wondering, how have team sports helped you this year with what's going on and just in your life? I saw that that's a big part of your life.
I played sports for so long, and I think that during that time, I really learned how to be a team player. And with the program, we're working with so many people all the time, and I think that's really amazing. And I've learned to enjoy and really how to be a part of a team all the time. Thank you.
And Darcy, your question, please.
Good evening, Maggie. In your essay, you talk about support for local businesses. At one time, New Westminster was the center of industry. Today, it's the center of the critical transportation link for other cities and their industry. What do you think you could do, or how do you think you could capture the people who travel through New Westminster every day to help support local businesses?
That's a really great question. And I think I talked about, telling my family and friends all about small businesses and trying to raise awareness that way. And I think that that's definitely the first step. And there totally is a lot of people going through the West. And I think that I could, try and help advertise and just trying to put the word out about all these amazing small businesses here in the West. Thank you.
Fantastic.
And Lewis, your question, please.
So, how are you doing? It's in regards to the same idea of local businesses, as I see that you're actually really interested on that, and also that you're in your studies. As leaders, we need to influence people in every day, and so how have you been able to influence your family or friends during these times to be able to support local businesses?
That's a great question. I think just by being passionate and by really showing your family and friends that you care about these businesses, I think that passion and genuine care will reflect on your family and friends when we're talking about small businesses. Thank you.
I have been playing soccer in New Westminster since I was 5 years old, but I have one special memory from over those years. On a chilly Tuesday night, soccer practice got canceled because our coaches said there was too much snow. That didn't stop a few of us players from heading to the Queen's Park turf field anyways. This is when reporters from Global News showed up and asked if they could take some shots of us playing soccer in the snow. That was one of my favorite memories playing sports in New Westminster.
Massey Theatre was originally called New Westminster Junior Secondary Auditorium, and while the theatre held its first performance in December of 1949, it was renamed the Vincent Massey Theatre in the mid-1950s, after the man that inspired its construction, the first Governor-General of Canada, Vincent Massey. The Massey Theatre boasts production workshops, a full-size stage, large orchestra pit, over 1,200 seats, and the Plaskett Art Gallery. The Massey has become a cherished place to introduce to and experience the arts. It is where many young people begin their dreams of performing career. while performers of all ages continue on their path of sharing their talents with the world. The Massey Theatre Society is committed to nurturing and supporting the performing arts with respect and integrity. Today, the Massey Theatre is home venue for the Royal City Musical Theatre Society, the New Westminster Symphony Orchestra, the Royal City Youth Ballet, the Maple Leaf Singers, the Mushtari Beijing Festival, and the wildly popular School District Number 40 Fine Arts Program that has produced incredible crowd-pleasing performances such as Grease, Annie, and just last year, Beauty and the Beast. All of these were absolutely outstanding performances.
Family, excellent quality, and health are three core values that make up the foundation of Mr. Scott's world-renowned business. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is McKenna Thomas, and I'm proudly sponsored by Beachcomber Hot Tubs. On February 14, 1978, Mr. Keith Scott took the enormous risk of starting a company established on his core values. 43 years later, his risk paid off, as Beachcomber has grown to be the largest manufacturer of hot tubs in Canada. Mr. Scott, who grew up in New West, had been working in the pool business for only a short time when the hot tub epiphany came to mind. He was especially keen to avoid the outrageous task of digging and removing dirt for a pool. Hence, Beachcomber Hot Tubs was born. Family is very important to Mr. Scott. To this day, Beachcomber remains a family-run company. In fact, many longtime associates now work alongside their kids in Beachcomber's main office and only factory that's located just across the bridge in Surrey. Considering my dad has been part of the Beachcomber team for 17 years, maybe I'll work there someday. Families are an exclusive customer for Mr. Scott's incredible business. They gift them with relaxation and you can use them all year round. In fact, Beachcomber hot tubs are the most energy efficient, finest quality, most comfortable and ergonomic, and longest lasting hot tubs in the world, according to California Energy Commission and industry data. This makes Beachcomber tubs 30% more energy efficient than the average hot tub. Beyond connecting with your family, hot tubs have also been proven to have many health benefits, including pain relief, muscle relaxation, improved sleep, and even a decent calorie burn. Since the company's emergence, Mr. Scott and Beachcomber have achieved many accolades. For instance, in the early 2000s, Mr. Scott himself was named one of the prestigious Ernst & Young's Entrepreneurs of the Year. He was also invited to a special program at the Ivey School of Business exclusively for Canada's top CEOs in 2004. In addition, Beachcomber was also awarded the Surrey Cultural Award in 2002. The company also does their fair share of charity as they donate to Children's Hospital, SOS Children's Village, the Homeless in Surrey, CNC Native Land, and Kids Play. With over 100 distributors and retailers in over 20 countries around the world, including a strategic partnership with Costco Canada, Beachcomber makes it very easy for families to transform their backyard into an oasis. Beachcomber has a unique position, not only in the hot tub industry, but in all industries, with a goal of connecting family, friends, and loved ones, and making the world a happier, healthier place. Thank you.
Thank you, McKenna. And now for the judges' questions. Donna?
Hi, McKenna. Thank you for that. I listened to your speech this morning as well, your senior mentor speech. Well done. Nice job. My question for you is, what has influenced your passion in music?
I have a cousin, her name is Cassidy, and growing up she was always doing musicals and I really looked up to her. And I think when I was younger I really just wanted to be like her, and she kind of gifted me with my passion for music and sang with me all throughout my younger childhood. So I think it comes from that.
Thank you.
And Sandra, we're going to give you another try.
Thank you. I read that you have a deep love of the arts, and I was just wondering if you could just give some examples of how art inspires you and has uplifted you.
During COVID, I was at home a lot, as we all were, and to get through some of the particularly lonely times, I would just kind of take out my guitar and I write songs actually, so I wrote a few songs during that time. And I also found that recording myself and sending it to relatives and like other friends, it kind of helps uplift everyone. And I really like how music can do that for someone and how they can make people just feel so much joy, especially throughout a time like this.
And Darcy, your question?
Good evening, McKenna. I noticed in your profile that you have an aspiration for law and journalism, two very direct careers that can model change. In your essay, you speak in depth of the negative social issues in the high school and the city itself. My question for you is, which one of the two aspirations that you have, law or journalism, could you take in terms of changing the path and maybe modeling positive change for the social issues that may be going on in the high school and the city?
I've actually been thinking a lot about this myself recently, and I think I've decided to go to in the law path. And I think regarding the negative situations in the high school and in the downtown part of New Westminster, I'd really like to be a defense lawyer and help people who are in bad situations and try my best to make their life better in any possible way that I can.
Fantastic, great answer.
And Lewis, your question, please.
How are you doing, McKenna? Just wanted to ask you about, I know Edna Rogers is your mentor, and I just wanted to ask, why is it that you think it is important to highlight Indigenous lives in our daily lives and also in our schools?
Personally, I've learned a lot about the Indigenous history lately. It's been put into our curriculum a lot, and I think it's really important that we acknowledge everything that went on, and specifically because I had such an incredible experience getting to talk and know Edna and know about her past and how she kind of prevailed through everything. So I think it's really important that we understand what they've all gone through and do our best to help them, because through generations they've gone through so much trauma and they deserve so much in regards to where we are in society today. So thank you.
I've seen probably close to 20 musicals in the Massey Theatre. Musical theater has been a really big part of my life, and I love to support all the local shows. Particularly, my favorite experience at Massey would have to be when I performed in the NWSS production of Beauty and the Beast last year. It was really hard work, but everyone did amazing, and the show turned out better than we ever thought it would.
Okay, so hands up if you're blown away by those magnificent ladies that just did their sponsor speech. Way to go, ladies. Absolutely spectacular job. And ladies and gentlemen, the introduction of our 2021 Hike Ambassadors Talk About Town New West. Thank you. In conclusion of this evening, I would like again to thank our esteemed judging panel. You got a hard job ahead of you. Good luck with that. And as I've said before, you have a stellar group of young ladies to mark this evening. So tonight's presentations were about our important community sponsors, and we thank each and every one of them for partnering with us in supporting our program and these future leaders of tomorrow that we are all so passionate about. So just to recap, our 2021 sponsors are Westland Insurance, Cassidy and Company, the Rotary Clubs of New Westminster, Key West Ford, New Westminster Firefighters Charitable Society, IAFF 256, and Beachcomber Hot Tubs. Thank you so much, sponsors. We appreciate your continued support for our program. To hear our candidates' previous presentations of their senior mentor speech, please check out HIAC's YouTube channel to learn about your valued senior HIAC members and their decades of dedication to their own families and to the HIAC Festival Association. And remember to vote for your favorite 2021 candidate on eventbrite.ch. .ca. We're in Canada, Karen. Voting will be open until the end of April, so please vote today and vote often. Thank you. Again, both YouTube and the Eventbrite links are located in the chat below. If you can highlight that and then plug it right into your computer. Lastly, we hope you will follow the HIAC Festival Association, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to check out our next Talk About Town New West. And you can also find all the social media links and more information on the HIAC website. And if all else fails, you can pick up the phone and call the HIAC office. Thank you for attending tonight's presentation, everyone, and have a great evening.